If you're tired of people like me writing show, don't tell in the margins of your essays, let's talk about how to never have that happen again. Show, don't tell is the most ubiquitous piece of writing advice. I heard it when I was in high school 100 years ago. I heard it in my writing classes in undergrad, and I'm telling you about it now. Want to know why? Showing something through demonstration engages readers by providing them details and inviting them to reach a conclusion themselves. And we like feeling like we've figured something out more than someone reciting us facts. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're on a date and you say, "Last Friday I went to the grocery store. I needed to buy ground beef. I drove. I felt lucky because my favorite brand was on sale for 5% off. Usually it's $7 a pound, but I got it for $6.65. That's telling. And when you replay that moment in your head after the date, would you feel like you were a captivating conversationalist? A raconteur? Probably not. Why? Because it's boring. Unless your date was inherently interested in the coupon history of your local Stop and Shop, there was no intrigue behind that story, no sensory details, no imagery, no reason to care. And in writing, boring narratives are even worse because you get no leeway. You can always edit, unlike when you're speaking. So you'll never catch even a first-year creative writing student write, "It was dark, so I tripped." No, they're more liable to write, "Waltzing across that crepuscular canvas, moonlit fingers caressed my heels, fettering my movement." And if you see something wrong with that, stick around. But the adept writer doesn't explicitly state that they tripped. They create a scene and allow the reader to uncover that they tripped, or maybe feel what it would be like to trip. "I was angry" is telling, while "I tore at my cuticles and clenched my teeth" is showing. "I cried" is telling, while "melancholy drenched my handkerchief" is showing. "He was scared of the dark" is telling, while "his heart pounded as night's obsidian curtain concealed the sun" is showing. Is that clear? In the context of college admissions, showing affords several boons. First, it prevents your essay from being boring. I mean, even if used poorly, like a caricature, at least it'd be memorable. And used well, your essay stands out from the thousands of bland, generic essays that bleed together as the admissions team struggles to stay awake. Showing makes the reader feel like they're part of the scene. It makes them feel smart when they uncover things on their own. It makes the actions you take striking and meaningful. It grounds activities that every other applicant will write about in specificity that makes the reader care. And if it did nothing else, it would still be one of the most powerful tools I could offer you. Nothing ruins an application faster than a boring essay. You are writing for the admissions officer who wants to go home. Your essay is the last thing preventing them from getting in the car and drinking a beer on the couch. Maybe someone's playing music in the other room. Maybe they're having a caffeine crash. Maybe they fought with their partner that morning and they're thinking about what to say when they get back. Your essay has to command that person's attention. And I promise you, if your essay is 100% telling and no showing, that person will not care after the first couple sentences. And guess what? It doesn't end there. Those details create a cascade of benefits. For example, it makes your stories more believable. Anyone can claim, "I'm intellectually curious," or "I have strong leadership skills." But when you demonstrate those traits through compelling moments, the reader wonders less about your trustworthiness. Showing helps you control the narrative by forcing you to be specific. Students who tell often rely on cliches. "Through this experience, I learned the value of perseverance," or "I'm passionate about helping others." Showing highlights your writing prowess. It fosters empathy from the reader. You get the idea. So when you're editing your college essays and you find the sentence, "Through my time in debate, I learned about communication," you know what to do now, right? Demonstrate the values you need admissions officers to see in your essay through actions. Don't just state meanings or say you grew. Ground specific actions in concrete details that allow us to understand why it matters. Let's practice. Is this an example of showing or telling? The speaker gave a boring, pompous speech about not being lazy. It was difficult to listen to, especially because I was tired. We all know it's telling, right? Now, if this were in your essay, how might you rewrite it? Maybe something like this. "Soporific warnings of sloth assaulted my leaden eyelids." Or less poetically, maybe, "The heat in the auditorium commanded my attention more than the sententious speakers." Okay, now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments how you might fix this telling sentence. "I've always been passionate about community service." If you're still watching, let me reward you with a bit of a writing secret. Show, don't tell is powerful advice, but it's also often overhyped. And there are times when you should just tell instead of show. Remember our example from the first year creative writing student? It is possible to overdo showing and fill your essay with prolix, florid descriptions that at best don't add value and at worst make you sound like a pretentious, arrogant buffoon. Opening a door doesn't necessarily need a 16-word description that personifies the doorknob as hardship and your fingers as sailboats. Sometimes it's okay to just open the door. All good writing is a mixture of showing and telling, and certain things would be ridiculous to show. Reflections usually require telling because your goal is to deliver clear insight. For example, let's say you're writing an essay about flexibility and applying it to various endeavors. After setting up the narrative, you write, "The flexibility I gained by knitting with my grandmother helped lead me to victory in the state debate championship." That's telling. It highlights a transferable skill from earlier in the essay with proof from an achievement and allows you to quickly move on. Maybe the essay isn't about the debate win, you simply wanted a subtle way to incorporate that accomplishment. Imagine showing this insight instead. The audience's applause reverberated in my ears as my opponent descended from the podium. The judge's pen scribbled comments and my own pen shook in unison with my trembling legs. How could I respond? Suddenly, my grandmother's words tore uncertainty asunder. Be flexible. After collecting my thoughts and writing, I marched to the stage and grasped the microphone. 10 minutes later, I bent beneath the lead judge, who placed a gold medal upon my neck. If you're including debate as proof more than a climactic moment, this feels tremendously out of place. Other examples, when you're summarizing a time span, when you need to provide quick context, and anytime showing obscures the point. Clarity beats cleverness most of the time, but the best essays have both. So think about when to use showing and telling in your essay. For prompts like the Common App SOP, I almost always use descriptive introductions, which would be showing, but that might not be the best approach for a 25-word supplemental question about your favorite book, for example. Now that you understand the difference and how to use both showing and telling, you're unstoppable. Next, I recommend you check out this video and like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss the next one.